Howdy, this is Lemmy with RevZilla TV, here to talk to you today about how to choose an air cleaner for your Harley. No doubt you're thinking about an air cleaner for your bike if you want your bike to move a little bit quicker and you want it to look a little bit different. There are a wide variety of air cleaners made for a wide variety of bikes. We have fitments as far back as shovels and even some pans. So make sure that you drop your bike information into our bike finder so we can get you the cleaner that's going to fit exactly for your bike. It's going to make your installation easy. Speaking of that installation, for most of these, you're looking at somewhere between 1 and 2 beards on our 3-beard BSD, our beard scale of difficulty. Depending on what kind of bike it is you have, you may either be looking sort of at the difficult end of 1 or the easy end of 2. So those of you with a fairly decent tool set should be able to get an installation accomplished with anything you find in our bike finder. Now, when it comes to actually selecting an air filter, there's a couple things you want to consider. Filtration and flow come to mind first, and I've grouped these sort of as the same thing because filtration and flow are inversely related. Better filtration equates to typically slightly worse flow, and better flow typically equates to slightly worse filtration. Most of the things you're going to see up here and we're going to talk about are going to be somewhere in the middle ground, but you can go to extreme levels of one or the other. Just know that where you gain in one area, you give up a little in another. The second thing, probably most important to most of you, are aesthetics. You want to make sure that you're picking an air cleaner that you love. Like if you don't like the look of it, it's not going to be something you want to keep on your bike, no matter how well it performs for you. So keep that in the back of your mind too. You want something that's going to look nice on your motorcycle. The final thing I like to sort of keep in the back of my head are special considerations, and we'll get into some of those. Some products have a standout feature that kind of make them pop. They put them ahead of the pack in some categories, and if that category or that need is important for you, it's going to obviously elevate an air cleaner in your buying decision. So let's get right into things, but before we do, just remember the stuff you're looking at here, this is just a smattering, it's a smorgasbord. These are some staff favorites and some customer favorites we have here at RevZilla. But again, I encourage you to use that bike finder. Find some of the stuff you don't see up here too. Let's kick right off. So first things first, the easiest way to update your intake tract to get a little more performance out of it is with just an element, an air cleaner element. Here at RevZilla, we divide the air tract into two types of categories. There's an air cleaner, which you see all here, and that's really a whole intake replacement. Everything upstream of your intake manifold is going to get replaced. But we also have air cleaner elements, just the air filter element. So if you see us selling an air filter, what that is something like this K&N you can see over here. This is meant to fit in your stock airbox. It's going to give you a performance bump for sure, but it's going to keep that nice stock appearing airbox. And that's going to allow you to do a couple things. Firstly, your bike's going to retain that OEM look. The second thing is stock airbox is usually really great about keeping rainwater out. This falls under that special considerations category I was talking about. If you do a lot of wet weather riding, you might want to consider replacing only your air cleaner element, not the whole air cleaner. So if you're considering a whole air cleaner assembly, no doubt you've seen an S&S teardrop style air cleaner. The teardrop is a great looking air filter. This is a very classic look. You're going to see these on bikes as far back as the 70s and 80s. S&S started cranking these things out. These were the air cleaner of choice on shovels in their day, and they were continued to be used on the Evos right up on through twin cams. You're going to see these on just about everything. So one of the things I like about the S&S, as you see here, we have the cool chrome cover. That comes off, and you've got this washable, reusable element in here. This is going to add power. One of the other things that's going to add power, as you see, the backing plate and the cover work together. And you can see here this special radius on the backing plate works in conjunction with this radius on the inside of the cleaner cover. This is going to speed up the air. You're going to get velocity. It's going to pack a lot of air through this filter. What this is going to do for you effectively is give you a little bit of a performance bump. Insofar as those special considerations we talked about, you can see here when I sandwich this thing together, I've got the cover, I've got the filter, and the backing plate. This works together now in a way that's very tightly sealed. It's not completely waterproof, but it's almost as waterproof as a stock airbox is going to be. So again, if you ride in the rain a lot, one of those special considerations, this is going to be a filter you're going to want to consider because this thing is not apt to get waterlogged. Moving down the line, we have a Joker machine air cleaner. I love these things because they are teeny tiny. You see we rotated this thing around a little bit, but this is going to set on your bike, and this is going to be small. In the special considerations category, this is going to flow a lot of air. You can see here this is a gauze filter. These things move a lot of air into your engine. Even though it is a little bit smaller though, what that's going to do for you is keep this thing out of your way. So if you're a rider who has an airbox that is currently bumping into your knee and you can't stand it, and it's driving you nuts, the Joker machine might keep that thing little, might keep it out of the way, might give you some room. Those of you guys on dynas, you're rocking some mids. Those of you on a sporty, you've got those mids, your knees are up high and you're banging into this thing. This is something you're going to want to look at for sure. Moving down the line, you have an RSD Clarity Air Cleaner. I love these things. They are super cool. You can see inside of this. So what this means is when this is on your bike, when you're looking at this, you're actually going to see your throttle butterfly working. This is a piece that is strong on aesthetics. This is aesthetically based. However, they don't leave performance out in the cold. You can see here this huge filter back here. This is going to let air in 360 degrees, and you are going to get a performance bump as well as make your bike look considerably different. Moving down the row, we have here a Palka ribbed teardrop air cleaner. I love these. These are very reminiscent of the early, Linkert bird deflectors that you saw on early Harleys. It's got a very timeless, classic look to it. It's small, it's tight, it's not going to draw undue attention to your motorcycle, and it does fit up pretty snug to your bike, so you're not going to be whacking your knee with this thing. So one of the things to consider here when we pull this thing apart, you've got the cover, but then you can see here the element is actually this open cell foam reinforced with wire in here. So this is going to let lots and lots of air in your engine, which is great for performance, but it might be a little shy on the filtration side. You might be a little light in filtration, but you are going to get the flow. Again, though, for a small, tight package, something classic looking, it's going to look nice on your motorcycle, the ribbed teardrop is kind of hard to beat. Moving down the line, we have the Arlen S Big Sucker. This is a juggernaut performer for us here at RevZilla. Everybody who has one of these seems to love them. The air filtration this thing is capable of is massive. These things move a bunch of air, and you can see how large this filter element is. This is the stage 2 version of this I have in front of me. You can see 360 degrees worth of air flooding this thing. If you want to get maximum amounts of air into your motorcycle with a filter, the Big Sucker is a great way to do it. A final item of note is the RSD V Stack, or Velocity Stack. So Velocity Stacks come to us from the drag racing world, and if you look here, you can see right through this. There is no filtration. All this air horn does is actually funnel air in, and it keeps it doing that, again, at high velocity, trying to jam air inside the engine. Very few engines are going to need this much air. This is really effective at high RPMs, high speed, wide open throttle when you need maximum amounts of air. That's why they were used at the drag strip. Today, I think most of the bikes you're going to see them on are doing it more as a style move, but again, if you're one of those hot rod riders and you're riding around with the throttle pinned a lot, a V-Stack may be the way to go. You've got lots of options here. As you can see, these are just some of our favorites here at RevZilla. Insofar as air cleaners though, like I said, you want to make sure that you got something that looks great, make sure it's something that's going to perform for you the way you ride your motorcycle, and also make sure that your air cleaner is going to work for you in terms of special considerations, rain riding, or you need something real small. Just make sure you're picking something that's going to work well with your setup. So at this juncture, let's delve a little deeper into installation. Most of the stuff you see before you is a fairly easy install. As we said at the beginning of this thing, you're looking at either the hard end of the 1 beard or the easy end of the 2 beard on our 3 beard BSD, our beard scale of difficulty. Most of you should be able to get this accomplished with an hour free in the afternoon, a buddy, a beer, and a couple of hand tools. Installation is pretty easy. The other reason we bump some of this stuff up into the 2 beard category is because, like any time you modify your intake or your exhaust track, you need to modify your fueling to go with it. So for those of you on an older carb bike, you're going to have to rejet. And for those of you guys who are rocking something fuel injected, you're going to need to address your fuel controller. If you've already got a fuel controller on there, it's a simple matter of remapping. However, if you don't, this can bump that project up to be a little bit more difficult. But you definitely don't want to leave just an air cleaner on your stock running bike. It's going to run things a little bit lean. That can get a little bit hairy. I think you've got some really good choices here, some really good options up here, and also some other ones on the site that you're not seeing in front of you. Again, don't be afraid to consider some things. Consider how it looks. Consider your special needs. Maybe you need a little leg clearance, or you ride a lot in the rain. And also make sure that what you're getting is going to flow and filter the way you need it to. If you want to learn a little more about any of these products, or some ones you don't see up here, click below, check out some rider reviews. If you have questions beyond that, get a hold of us. See us at RevZilla.com, or you can get a Gear Geek live on the phone, 877-792-9455. I'm Lemmy. I'm out of here.